The parallels you draw about the things that we can control. Well, we can control a lot of things, and binding arbitration as it exists right now is a reality. Will that change in the future? It may, and it may change under this governor who has made a commitment to holding down taxes, and that may be one of the things that he changes in the process. But it will take time, and if in fact it does change. But another thing that the public has to be aware of, there are costs associated with government. Sometimes we don't have any control. Sometimes we deal with legal issues that run up a tab for the taxpayers, like the St. Phillips issue of over $100,000 that you initiated. And quite frankly, that could have been money that was better spent on a lot of other things than paying attorneys. No offense, Mr. McGuire, because you did an outstanding job. But we could have used that for a lot of other things. In fact, I would venture to say that $100,000 may have covered some of the raises that the public employees got this year.
I have to reply to that because you keep beating this dead horse, and it's very unfair. That issue, that lawsuit, those legal issues were all legitimate. They were not frivolous. We had every right, and we finally did get it on the referendum, even though you fought very hard to keep it off. And might I also say that we have brought this up as well, talking about expenses. I think you are spending, we'll probably spend close to $100,000 investigating one of your council members.
Well, Ms. Phillips, you're not accurate in that regard either, Mrs. Phillips, because you know there's not much I can say about this issue, but if an application is made, the city has to go through a process. And there's a very easy way that all these legal bills could have been avoided, and that is that Councilman Palello could have not applied to expand his premises for the third time.
But he has every right, sir, to do that. And I'm not here to defend a particular councilman.
Well, you brought it up. You know that
yes, but you brought up the St. Phillips issue.
You know that Mr. Palello has been turned down 2 times, at least when he was a Republican. So it's not a political issue. There's a very easy way to control these expenses, and that is not to apply to expand your premises.
Sir, that you're denying somebody. You're saying you will not incur any legal expenses to the taxpayers if you don't exercise your rights. So what we did for St. Phillips was to exercise our right.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Phillips, but I'll take that as the Taxpayers Association is in favor of having alcohol served on the beach.
That's not the issue here. And no, we are not in favor of that. That's not the point.
That's apparently
no, and that's not your point either. I've looked into this, and I'm not going to get into it now. The point is you raised the issue of legal fees, and you always come back to St. Phillips. But St. Phillips was a legitimate issue that the people in this town wanted to bring to their attention and to have a vote on it. And there was nothing that was frivolous about it. And the fact that the money had to be spent, it had to be spent because of the way you conducted it from the beginning.
Ms. Phillips, I'm not going to argue with you here all night, but when it's convenient for you to say that the city should cut costs, you say that. But when it costs the taxpayers because of your own initiative, obviously that's a different story. But thank you.
No, you don't seem to understand at all, sir. You don't seem to understand that people have rights and they can exercise them. When they think government is doing something wrong, they have a right to petition and to take steps to try and change that.
Well, obviously
that has nothing to do with your control over how much you spend on this council. Thank you.